Sup witches, Celeste of the Silver Cord. I am going to be doing an Ophiuchus collective reading for everybody for this weekend. I keep stressing, I don't know how many times and how many ways I can say how important this lineup is that we're going into. This is the end of this massive 7-year cycle that we have been in. This is the massive climax of this 35 to 37 year cycle that we have been in. If you were born between 80 and 85, this is massive for you. This is a climax of a 500-year cycle from when the King James Bible was written and edited and the Catholic Church took over and people fled Europe to America over religious persecution. This is massive, guys. This is a big shift, and this is time to make choices. This is the moment of whether you are going to run these old paradigms and stay in your toasty comfort zones, or if you are going to expand and join the collective and embrace your purpose here. This is big. This is Pluto and Saturn and Neptune and North nodes, and this is Chiron direct in Aries. This is Uranus going direct. This is all the planets will be direct this weekend. And with this lunar eclipse and the sun we just going to be transferring right through this lineup between the sun and the moon and all these planets. And it's going to be going from 22 degrees and 20 degrees all the way to 40 and 44 degrees with all these planets. And it's important because your boat is going to be being rocked. And you are going to want to try and salvage it. You're going to want to try and stop it from being rocked, and you're going to put in effort, and you got to make sure you know what it is you're trying to actually save, what direction you want to go in, what truths are you running from, and what in your intuition, because it doesn't match what you want to be true, that you are fighting. And it is now time to start trusting what your intuition has been telling you all of 2019 while you've been trying to maintain this perfect structure in your life, or you're trying to build this perfect life based on these old paradigms. What are you trying to save? What are you trying to save? Because honestly, when it comes down to it, the worst decision you can make is to stay somewhere out of comfort, because it's just easy to stay in the comfort zone. It's easy to stay in toxic relationships. It's easy to feed into these narratives of twin flames and how you guys think that in order to be successful, you got to do the normal setup, then the normal Catholic paradigm of the perfect family. This is breaking out of those paradigms, and this is the Hopi 500 years ago predicting the rise of the rainbow tribe. So this is the time for us to really step out in the open and not be afraid of our spiritual gifts, and not be afraid to follow our intuition, and not be afraid to go into nature and sit with a tree if that makes you feel better. This is time to be open about what it is you know in your heart is a truth, and you have been fighting this truth because you don't want to look weird and you don't want to be an outcast. But in today's world right now, with all the chaos going on, we're all outcasts. Everybody's doing something different right now. And we're fighting for the LGBT community, and we're marching against autism, and we're trying to cookie cutter our kids in school with the knowledge that they're learning there. and we're not expanding, going out of our way to expand their knowledge and prepare them for this shift. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. We've been saying this for so long. The sages from the 70s have taught us so much, and so many of them. I just lost a friend who was a dear friend who was a sage, who left us during the Christmas solar eclipse lineup, and I know several that are very sick right now, and they are getting ready to cross over and leave this world in our hands. And it's time to stop being followers. It really is time to stop being followers. And I'm just going to do a quick reading and just the basic energies that this weekend is bringing us right now. And this is strength, grace and inner strength needed to overcome these challenges. The power of kindness and forgiving. It's time to embrace how wonderful you are. This is Princess of Summer, gentle and sensitive and kind, but inexperienced. This is new relationships or emotional experiences, invitations to social events that you probably used to make fun of people for going to. Now you have a compassionate friend that you can share your concerns with on your spiritual path. This is the Princess of Spring, optimistic, enthusiastic, and creative and energetic, and it's time to go after your dreams and do something that expands your horizons and let your creativity take flight. We are in the middle of an art revolution in Western society. People are going for more for these handmade items and hand-painted things instead of these pure one cookie cutter things now. And this is about unity, doing the right thing for the right reason. Compare tradition versus new approaches to see which works better for you and works with you within your spiritually minded community. And this is the Eight of Summer, the desire for a more meaningful life, to break the slave paradigm that they program us with, to fear money and fear doing things on your own, and realizing it is time to move on and make major decisions in your life. See, I can't make this stuff up, guys. It just comes out. This is what we're going into. I know I'm on a lot of caffeine right now. I get up at 5 in the morning to take my kids to school. So this is so big. I'm going to pull some past life cards just to see what past energies and what was going on in our lifetimes the last time these alignments came up. I told you, the church and the Inquisition and persecution, and that is a fear that you are carrying deep in your soul from the last time these alignments came into play. Egypt. This is a part of a massive 500-year cycle that has been running for a while, guys. This is knowledge, ancient knowledge is coming back into light. This is new approaches to health and wellness that we are taking. This is new approaches to spirituality and religion. This is the Lone Star Seeds uniting together in trust and faith to see each other through these times. It's so important to be firm in what you believe. And now I went through a major shakeup at the end of November, beginning of December, where I had a radical reaction to the medication Chantix, where I literally did not sleep for 7 days, and I felt as if I was in a battlefield between two souls fighting, and I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep for 7 days straight. I ended up in a psychiatric and rehab unit for 2 weeks while I had to detox my system of the Chantix. But it changed my whole perspective, because even while in a psychiatric ward, strange things still happen to confirm my belief that spirits are watching out for me. There was a point where I finally ventured out of my room, and the first thing I did was organize a bucket of magazines, and there was a bunch of puzzle pieces in the bottom, and I was half tempted to throw them out, and I didn't. 2 days later, I went to the cart that had all the puzzles and games and stuff on it for us, and I picked out a puzzle, and I started doing the puzzle, and then I could not find some of the pieces for the puzzle, and something told me to go check the magazine basket. And as I was walking out the door, there was a corner piece of the puzzle on the floor in the doorway, pointing towards the table with the basket on it. And I went in the basket, and there was all the missing pieces to the puzzle I was working on. And all I can say is I took my angel to rehab with me. And it reaffirmed my trust and faith that the universe is perfect in its chaos, and it is designed to put us through these trials and tribulations in order to strengthen us and teach us so that we can grow. We are learning lessons in this lifetime that we could not learn 500 years ago, because the knowledge was not accessible to us. And now it is. Now it is. There is no reason for anybody to be blind to what is going on in the world and not making a stand. There is no reason that if you are going to be Democrat or Republican or liberal or whatever it is you want to be, that you are ignorant in your stance and you are just taking it because everybody around you is. Knowledge with smartphones and the internet is all out there for you. You want to learn new holistic approaches? Look it up. Walk the path. Do the research. You want to learn more about the different levels of spirituality? Do that. Go. Research. Take a class. Go to a Reiki healing session. Go to a Himalayan bowl healing session. Do these things. Do group things with people that are like-minded and spiritual with you. Make the choice to break out of your comfort zone, because I'm telling you, this has been a long 7-year cycle for a lot of us. Those of us who were born in the early 80s, this is a climactic point of 30 years of cycles we have been running. And you should have been asking yourself, all of 2019, with all of the crazy alignments that we had then, you should have been asking yourself honestly and truthfully, how do you feel inside? What is your spirit trying to tell you? And what is the universe trying to teach you with these trials and tribulations? For our oracle cards, I'm just going to go through a couple of these we'll see what comes up. We got clouds and shape-shifting. You are supposed to change. You are supposed to constantly see new things and change and adapt and grow. You're supposed to do these things. It is not fake to change. That is the genuine self wants to change. That's why we get so miserable when we stay in a role for so long that we become stagnant. That's how you end up in situations where you're surrounded by people and you feel alone. Don't be afraid to change. Radiance in the sun. Don't be afraid to shine. Don't be afraid to radiate that loving energy, because the world is going to need it more than ever coming into 2020. And you're going to need to hold on to that radiant love sun energy as we enter into this lunar eclipse with the lineup with the sun. It is time to purify yourself of things that no longer serve your higher purpose, things that are baggage that is holding you down, toxic traumas, toxic cycles, toxic people. It is time to allow the rain to come in and wash it all away. Australia has been on fire for how long now, and suddenly it is being drenched in rain. And I don't care what anybody says, you cannot convince me otherwise that it was the collective spiritual star seeds call for rain that brought these torrential downpours into Australia to purify it. Fire of passion. The fire burns away all of the old so that new can be born. And the best way to maintain your fire is to stick with things that you are passionate about and remain passionate about them, and be vocal and be willing to share your passions. And rainbow blessings. It's going to rock you guys' world. Some of us have already been being rocked all through 2019. If you've been doing the work, you've been going through it, and you have gone through some trials and tribulations. And once we are done with the burning away and the rain and the coming out of the sun and being able to shift and adapt, there is rainbow blessings coming after the storm. All right. I hope that made sense to you guys. This is the last video I'm doing about this weekend and how important it is. And please, if you are interested in astrology, look up some other astrologers and really get a sense of what's going on. If you are into numbers, look up this natal chart that is playing out this weekend. It is just full of synchronicities. This is the synergy of the universe playing out before you. The chaos and the balance between, for every star there is a black hole. And this is the unity of the collective finally embracing each other and coming out in the open so that others can see that you can change. And if we can shift it, we can shift this co-creation that the world has been creating for the last 500 years with these Abrahamic faiths, which is all the same religion. They're just arguing over who the better messenger is. And we have been fighting these wars for 500 years and longer. We have been fighting these battles over whose messenger was better. And it's to the point that nobody remembers what the message is. And they all said the same thing. The message, the way we change the frequency, the way we stop marching towards doomsday is love and forgiveness. Love and forgiveness for those around you, and love and forgiveness for yourself for not knowing what you know now. That is a big thing that people get stuck on. You're stuck on the fact that you wish you had the knowledge you have now back then. No, you don't. Because then you wouldn't have learned anything. You wouldn't have gained the knowledge you have now. The only way to gain knowledge is to go through the lesson. And forgive those who aren't going to change. Forgive them. Find it in your heart to forgive these people. It's like the end of that movie, not the end, but the never-ending story when Atreus pulling the horse in the mud and he's crying to the horse and he goes, don't fall into the despair. Don't let the swamp get you. Don't let it pull you into despair and fear, because it will kill you. And the horse didn't have it in it to come with him. And he had to finish the journey on his own. But remember the end of that movie. Once the kid is fully awakened and he is in the world of the never-ending story, one of the first things he sees is Atreyu on his horse. So go through it, process it, learn your lessons. Blessings are coming this year. All right, guys. If you like this, please like, share, subscribe. Please comment and let me know what you think. Spank that bell, and I'll talk to you later.